Nowadays, average person checks their phone 96 times per day, once every 10 minutes. Wake up with phone, eat with phone, fall asleep with phone in our hands. Even when we clean apartment, we can't do it without podcast in our ears. When was the last time you did nothing? No audio, no video, just you and thoughts. And today we're gonna discuss the addiction of 21st century. So, what changed? Let's think about it economically. If you spend less time on your phone, companies don't make profit. When you're in a network, scrolling, clicking, watching, someone is making money. Every click has a value. Every second of your attention can be monetized. So companies got creative. They invented features to take your attention. You know those three dots that appear when someone is typing to you? Those didn't exist in early messaging apps. They were invented. Why? Because without them, you would send a message and close the app. But with those dots, you wait. You stare at the screen, you stay in the app. Those three dots keep you hooked for an extra 30 seconds. Multiply that by millions of users multiple times per day. That's hours of attention captured. Push notifications. They are not there to inform you, they are there to tell you are missing something. Think about how they word it. You have 3 new messages, someone mentioned you, don't miss out on. It's the same psychology they use on gambling addicts. Fear of missing out. The feeling that something important is happening without you. Then there is autoplay. You finish watching one video before you can even decide if you want to watch another, the next one starts. Your brain doesn't get a moment to choose, to think, to stop, and infinite scroll. There is no bottom, no end, no natural stopping point. You could scroll forever, and that's the point. On old websites you would reach the end of a page. You would have a moment to decide, keep going or leave. Now, there is no moment, there is no choice. All of this, the typing indicators, the notifications, the autoplay, the infinite scroll, that follow you everywhere, it's not accidental, it's design. Designers, psychologists, engineers are paid to figure out how to keep you in the system for as long as possible, because your time is profitable. Every minute you are bored is a minute you are not generating value for someone else. And the most profitable thing, we think it's our choice. We think we are the ones deciding to open the app, to scroll one more time, to check a little bit longer. But we are not choosing, we are responding. Like Pavlov's dogs, except the bell is a push notification. So, how did we fall into this trap without noticing? Dopamine. Dopamine isn't the enemy. It's your brain's reward system. A signal that says, good job, do it again. And it used to work simply. Learn a new skill? Dopamine. Build something with your hands? Dopamine. Achieve the goal? Dopamine. The reward came rarely, but it was powerful and it means something. But now, open a TikTok, dopamine. Got a like, dopamine. Watch a new video, dopamine. Watched a meme, dopamine. Dozens of microdoses every minute without effort. Here's what nobody tells you. Dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about anticipation, the promise of reward. That's why you keep scrolling even when nothing interesting appears. Your brain keeps saying, maybe the next one, maybe the next one, maybe the next one. You are not enjoying it, you are chasing. And over time, your brain adapts. It needs more stimulation to feel the same thing. Normal life starts feeling flat. A conversation with a friend, boring. A walk outside, understimulating. Reading a book, your mind wanders after 2 pages. You see Our brains evolved over millions of years. New information means survival. Where is the food? Where is the danger? Where is the shelter? The brain rewarded us for seeking it out. But evolution didn't prepare us for this. A massive flood of useless information, every second, forever. Now your brain receives the signal. New, 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 but it's not survival information. It's TV shows, memes, other people's lives. We broke our own reward system, turned a survival tool into an addiction. And here's uncomfortable truth. When you finally put your phone down and feel that restless, anxious, I need to check something feeling, that's not boredom, that's withdrawal. But there is a way out. And it's not what you think. It's not meditation apps, not productivity hacks, not another self-help book. It's boredom. Real, uncomfortable, doing absolutely nothing boredom. Now I know what you are thinking. Boredom? That's the problem, not the solution. But here's what everyone gets wrong about boredom. We have been taught that boredom is wasted time, empty time, time you should be optimizing. But boredom isn't empty, it's the opposite. Boredom is when your brain finally gets to do what it was designed to do: process, connect, create. Think about it. When was your last genuinely good idea? Probably in the shower, or on a walk, or right before sleep. Never while scrolling TikTok. Never while binge watching Netflix. Never while your brain was being fed content. Your best ideas come when your brain has space to work. But let's be honest, boredom is uncomfortable, especially at first. The first few days feels like withdrawal, because that's exactly what it is. Your brain starts screaming, "Give me something, anything, just one quick scroll." You will feel restless, anxious, like you should be doing something. But here's what happens if you push through. First, your dopamine system recalibrates. After about a week, something shifts. Colors look brighter, food tastes better, music hits different, conversation becomes interesting again. It's not that the world changed, it's that your baseline shifted. You are no longer comparing everything to hyperstimulation of your phone. When your brain isn't constantly flooded with dopamine, it starts responding to normal levels again. Life becomes satisfying. Second, your brain starts solving problems in the background. You know how you can't remember someone's name, but then hours later, when you are not even thinking about it, it just pops into your head. That's your brain working in the background. But it can only do that when it has processing power available. When you are constantly consuming content, your brain is always in input mode. There is no bandwidth left for processing. But it can only do that when it has processing power available. When you are constantly consuming content, your brain is always in input mode. There is no bandwidth left for processing. You know what I do when I'm stuck? When I can't write, can't decide, can't think straight. I don't grind harder. I don't doom scroll for inspiration. I sit down and I do nothing. 20 minutes, no phone, no music, nothing. Sounds crazy, right? But here is what happens. Around minute 20, my brain gets so bored, it starts working. Ideas show up, motivation kicks in, because creativity doesn't need more input. It needs space. Third, you reconnect with your actual preferences. Here is a weird question. What do you actually like? Not what the algorithm thinks you like. Not what autoplayed next. Not what went viral. What do you like? When was the last time you chose something just because you wanted to? Not because it was recommended, not because everyone's watching it. Because you genuinely wanted it. In boredom, you start hearing your own voice again, your own desires, your own interests. I realized I would be listening to podcasts during every walk, not because I wanted to learn, but because I was afraid of my own thoughts. When I finally walked in the silence, I discovered I had things to think about it. Problems to work through, ideas to explore. The podcast was just drowning them out. Fourth, time expands. This one's strange, but it's real. When you are scrolling, hours vanish. You pick up your phone and suddenly it's 2 am. Where did the time go? But when you are bored, time stretches. A 30-minute walk feels like an hour. A quiet evening feels full. Days feel longer. Not in a bad way, in a I actually lived this day way. Your brain creates memories from novel experiences and focused attention. When you are scrolling, every day is the same blur. No distinct memories form. But when you are present, even you are just sitting, your brain encodes the experience. Time feels real again. The dark side of boredom. Now I need to be honest with you. Boredom has a dark side, and nobody talks about it. If you are using boredom to avoid life, that's not boredom, that's escape. Lying on the couch for 6 hours doing nothing while your responsibilities pile up, that's not practicing boredom, that's depression or avoidance, and it's destructive. Boredom works when you give your brain rest so it can help you doing things. Not so you can avoid doing things. There is a difference between taking a 20-minute break to let your mind wander and checking out of life for weeks. One is restorative, one is destructive. The goal isn't to do nothing forever. The goal is to give your brain enough nothing that it wants to do something. And here's a test. After boredom, do you feel clearer, more motivated, more like yourself? Or do you feel more stuck, more numb, more hopeless? If it's the latter, you are not bored. You need different help. And that's okay. But if it's the former, you are on the right track. I started introducing myself to boredom about 3 months ago. I began by waking up in the morning and reading new material, writing it down in a notebook to remember it better. As a result, from 7 to 10 am, I was in a boredom, and I like this feeling. I'm happier than before because I'm grateful that I have time for work, for creating YouTube content, for self-education. I haven't used Instagram for 3 months now and I don't miss it because if I want to talk to people close to me, I can just call them. After 2 weeks of introducing boredom, I unsubscribed from all channels, leaving only 3 that I'm genuinely interested in. And at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I think about what new things I learned today. It gives me greater motivation to fall asleep faster, wake up and spend those 3 hours for myself again. This isn't about perfection. I still check my phone sometimes, I still get distracted. But the difference, now I notice when I'm doing it, and I have a choice. That's what boredom gave me back. Choice. So, what can you do right now? 3 simple steps. First, a walk before bed. 1 hour without headphones, without your phone. Just go out, walk, look around. This will reduce stress, calm your mind, and improve your sleep. And please, don't listen to a podcast for productivity. Just walk. Second, daily task without extra noise. Eating without YouTube. Washing dishes without music. Cleaning in silence. Sounds strange? Try it. You will start feeling the moment, getting pleasure from the simple. Food will taste better, work will feel more meaningful. Third, an hour for a hobby. Try to set aside time for yourself and your hobby. Can't do an hour? Start with 5 minutes. Tomorrow 10. The main thing is to make it a habit. So you don't need retreats, you don't need a forest in the mountains, you only need a choice. So here is my challenge. Try one of these, just one this week, and let me know what happens. What you felt, what you noticed, what changed. Maybe you discover what I did, that boredom isn't empty. It's full of everything you have been missing. Thanks for watching and see you next time.